Hey y'all. I'm about to burn my incense and we're about to talk. Incense is one of my favorite things to burn. Usually I like burning the resin because it's so smoky it fills up the entire room. But also a stick of incense never did me wrong. You just gotta get the right brand. Because if you get one that's kind of like artificial smelling, it don't have the same effect. You gotta get something that is natural. I finally did my hair, y'all. I've been waiting to grow out my hair, to do the boho braids, the mermaid braids, the goddess braids, whatever you want to call it. It finally was long enough for me to grip. It was a little bit of a struggle because I haven't braided my hair in a while, but this how it turned out, so I'm happy. Got my chai iced latte. So good. Actually, it's kind of strong because I overdid the cloves when I made that batch, but I don't know for next time. For sure. This video is going to be the things that I learned this year because the year is almost over. This year has felt very uneventful to me overall, but as I look back, it's like, okay, you did learn some stuff this year. You went through some things this year, and I always like to think that the lessons that I learned, I came out better for it, but that doesn't make the lesson easier to go through. This year, in my opinion, has been a little bit boring because I haven't had any romantic interests. I feel like my career is kind of staying at a standstill. A few fun things have happened, but the overarching theme has not felt extraordinary. That's kind of a disappointment, but that's gonna go into like part of what I learned this year, though. One of the things I learned this year, which has been a long-standing issue for me, is to be more confrontational and be more assertive. Confrontation is one of the things that not to say I like to avoid it, but that's one of the things that I don't rush to get into. Confrontation is something that if I could avoid it, I would. At times, I'll just, I guess, drop relationships because of it, because it's like, well, oh well, it's whatever. That's not good. That's literally not good. Confrontation is one of those things that if it can be resolved, your relationships are stronger because of it. You're more capable because of it. So if you continuously avoid it, you know how many other things in your life that you're avoiding and you're not letting get to a natural conclusion? I've learned that confrontation is good, it's needed, and it'll make you stronger after having done it. I think when I was younger, like a child, I was much more assertive and blunt. That was just my natural way of being. But I was called that so many times and it kind of had like a negative tone to it. I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't be so like blunt and direct with how you communicate. I don't know if that's good. So I kind of leaned away from expressing myself in that type of way. And in some ways I think it's good because I'm more thoughtful about the things that I say and how I say it. But I feel like at some times it's detrimental because sometimes the more direct you are, the better, because it's just it can be very clear cut of what you're trying to say and how you want to get your point across. For me, lately, I'm realizing that it will be better for me to lean into that side of myself, not only to instill boundaries, but to show up in a more authentic way. Like, something that I really care about is being genuine and showing up authentically. Sometimes that means just being direct and not trying to mince words, right? I kind of realized that it's a good thing because it allows less actions to be misconstrued. One thing I don't like is the idea of me being misunderstood. But if you're blunt or direct, that doesn't mean harsh. That doesn't mean delivering honesty with a harshness, because people swear I'm giving you the truth, like I'm not mincing words. No, you can still deliver things thoughtfully, right? So that's my thing. Deliver things with honesty, with as much care as I can, while being as honest as I can as well. If you have concerns about being misunderstood, then if you're direct, you can always explain yourself and what you're trying to say, what you're trying to do. Another thing I learned, and I will say all of these lessons are decades in the making. This is not stuff from just this year, I've just had the sight to see these lessons more obviously for what they are. But this have been stuff that I've been having issues with since I was a little kid. One of them is you can't save people for themselves. You literally can't. You may provide support, but you can't save others at the expense of yourself. Ever since I was a child, I'm the oldest sibling out of 6, and I think being the oldest daughter really does impact on how you're socialized and how you move and show up in the world. You're like the secondary caregiver at times, because when you're the oldest, if your parents have another child, it's like, make sure you watch out for them, make sure you don't let nobody bully them, make sure you don't let them get hurt. So as a kid, you're like, oh, that's my responsibility. I can't let this person get hurt. I can't let anybody do anything wrong to them. You're assuming that responsibility as a child. And when you're a child, I think we forget how much things are so impactful to them and how inflated they are of their importance. Because as a parent, you're just making sure that your kid knows, don't be mean to your sister, and make sure that nobody else is being mean to her. You just want to make sure that they know that. But as a kid, you don't have that many years of reference of life, so any lesson that you're getting is amplified by 100, versus when you're an adult, you have a lot of things to contrast and compare the lessons that you're getting, right? So when I'm a kid and I'm hearing that, I'm like, I can't let my sister get hurt. But then magnify that by 5 other siblings. That's a responsibility that I've held since a child, of trying to make sure that they are good. At times it may come at the expense of myself. If I have an event or if I have something that I've been needing to do, but you called me, it was like, T, can you do yada yada yada? T, can you do yada yada yada? I'm like, okay, let me put on pause the thing that I need to take care of and do this as quick as I can, and then get back to what I originally was planning to do. That's not sustainable for long term. That's not something that's about to work, because how many times are you gonna put your goals and your needs or your to-do list on a pause, on back burner, to satisfy the needs of somebody else? That's not something that you should do, because in your life, you should be your #1 priority. I can't save others. Even, this is another thing, I need to stop giving unsolicited advice. That's something that I have an issue with, y'all. Like, I'm quick to give, have you thought about it like this? Maybe you should do it from this angle. Maybe you should. People don't be asking for advice. Sometimes they do, and if they do, it's like, okay, let me tell you what I think. I ain't no expert, but this what I would probably do, or this what I think about that. People don't be wanting advice sometimes. They just want to do what they want to do, and maybe they just want you to be a listening ear for them to rant about the situation. My issue is, I see you doing something, I'm like, I think you should switch it up. I don't know if this is really working for you from the outside looking in. But keep in mind, some people need to go through the lesson of learning how their actions are impacting them before they could get through it. You trying to give them advice may be a shortcut that they don't need to take, or nor do they want to take. So for me, if I'm bringing up a situation like, yeah, you might need to do something else, and they get offended, it's like, how you gonna tell me what to do? I think I'm looking out for the betterment of you. But keep in mind, everybody doesn't have the same thought process, and everybody doesn't need to do things the same way. So for me, as an older sister, I'm always giving these mother effers advice. Maybe that should be something that's asked for and sought after, instead of something that's willingly offered. Unless, you know, the person is very receptive to that, then that's a different case. But for me, I'll wait till they're receptive, and if not, it's cool. Again, my highest priority needs to be me at this time, because if I have stuff I need to do and stuff I want to get done, I can't be exerting my energy all over the place to try to help other people. See, y'all, I was on matcha real heavy, and I was like, okay, girl, let's take a break, because you're running through this matcha powder like it's nothing. I was like, what other, because drinking tea is just so good for you. Like, I love the ability to get the caffeine without the crash, to get the caffeine, but then other good benefits that are anti-inflammatory. Matcha, people swear that when something is a craze or a trend, or that everybody love it, that it's lame and overrated. Matcha is not one of them things. I understand exactly why everybody love it, because not only is it a cute green drink, it looks cute, it has a nice taste if you get good quality, I know I have described it before as grassy, and other people have done that as well. But if you get a good matcha, it's more of like a nutty type of flavor. It has like a certain smoothness to it that I personally really enjoy. But I was running through my matcha powder so quickly, and I didn't even get the super good quality kind. I got some stuff from Walmart, and I'm just like, actually, let's take a break, girl, because you doing too much. Matcha is one of them things that when you in deep, you could drink 3 matchas a day and not blink an eye. And I'm like, actually, a little bit too much of anything. I don't know if that's good. So I said, pause it for the week, and let's try another tea. So I've been drinking chai tea. I made a chai tea batch, and I had cloves, cinnamon. Like, I was making black tea, which my little brother was talking about some chai tea. You know chai means tea, right? I was like, I understand that, dog, but chai is kind of like they be adding different spices and stuff in it, so it's just to make that distinction. Chai, you add some cloves, you add some cinnamon, you add something else that I couldn't find at the grocery store, so I just didn't put that in there. But I was brewing the F out this tea. I've been drinking chai, and I do still love a good coffee drink. I like coffee for the taste. I want a sweet treat. I want some cream and sugar added to it. Maybe a little bit of vanilla or lavender or caramel or some more. I like a sweet treat when it comes to my coffee. Yes, I want it for the added caffeine, but it needs to be a sweet treat for me. I can't do black. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So with the chai, I did a brown sugar. I did a brown sugar soft top. It's really good. But also, yeah, with the advice, I have to lessen the gift of unsolicited advice, because I feel like I consider myself a smart, thoughtful person. But everybody don't need that all the time. As far as like, they don't need advice from something they didn't ask for. If they didn't ask, they might be content, not necessarily happy, not necessarily prosperous, but comfortable where they are. Sometimes people need to just learn the lesson of going through it and not get outside opinions on what they have going on. Ooh, be more selfish. Be more full of yourself. Be more intentional with how you speak about and to yourself. I feel like I'm the type of person that could be really hard on the things that I've done and the ways that I've shown up. And I don't know if that's beneficial to me at this point. If anything, being hard on myself makes me more of a perfectionist. It makes me more of a perfectionist that doesn't get stuff done. Being a perfectionist is such a sickness at times, because if it paralyzes you from completing and going after your goals and aspirations, you're gonna be sitting in the same spot 5 years from now, because you never was able to let yourself try. And this year is something that I've realized that I'm not where I want to be, because I haven't been allowing myself the freedom to try as much as I've had in the past. I've had eras where I'm just putting stuff out, whether it's art, whether it's thoughts, poems, whatever it is. I've allowed myself the freedom in the past to do that, but this year I feel like I've been at a standstill because I'm doing too much of this without the act of letting it out. And that's something that I do want to change, because I do have a lot of like things to share, thought wise, artistic wise, but the lack of letting myself do that is really making a negative impact on what I'm trying to accomplish. Be more selfish kind of goes into earlier about me showing up for myself first and trying not to save people from themselves. If I'm selfish, that means I'm looking at my goals, my aspirations, my interests, and I'm pouring my all into them. I'm not letting myself get sidetracked by anything else, which is important for me. Being full of myself, that just means letting my confidence skyrocket. Like, doing my affirmations, like, you really heard. Like, you really heard. I feel like that's something I've been lacking lately. Like, I was in my self-love era and really pouring into myself and being full of myself, but that's something that needs to get back up in the priority rank of activities I need to be doing. Because with self-love or self-care, you have to be intentional with how you show up, whether that's the aesthetic or whether that's the physicality aspect, going to the gym regularly, eating whole foods that are good for your body, painting your nails, putting on your lotion, taking a bath, doing your skincare routine. That's things, it's like, okay, you're caring after yourself. The self-love comes when you have acceptance of yourself and the things that you've done. You have forgiveness for the choices that you made in the past that you may not agree with today. Instead of harping on it and convincing yourself that you're a bad person, you have the understanding of knowing where you were at that time and decisions you made because of where you were at that time, and how you may know better now after having learned more, right? So giving myself understanding, acceptance is something that is really important to me in self-care or self-love. And I need to be more full of myself. Like, instead of focusing on the things that I haven't done and the goals I haven't accomplished, write out and give yourself a pat on the back for the things that you have. One way I have been doing this though, one second. One way I have been doing this is in my planner. I have this monthly / weekly planner, and here's my stickers. These are stickers that I made. If you order a print from my website, I'll include it. It's just like a little gift. But this is one way that I've been trying to honor myself and acknowledge my accomplishments. Because one thing about me, I'll accomplish something and then be like, okay, on to the next. Like, what we doing now? And it's like, girl, you just accomplished something really good. That was a milestone. Can we sit here and rest and think about what it took to get to this point? Like, nah. We need to do bigger and better. If you accomplish that, what's next on the list? Like, it's never given a time for rest and reflection. Instead, it's like, okay, on to bigger and better. And I think that allowed me to get to the place of burnout where it's like, what's the point? If I'm not already where I want to be, who cares about all the milestones in between? And it's like, girl, this is the journey of getting where you want to go. So you need to acknowledge that, celebrate it, and then get back up and do what you're trying to do. So this is how I did my planner last month. So it's the TikToks I wanted to make, the video ideas I want to make, and the amount of times I went live. And at the bottom there are prizes. The prizes come after I do these on this side. So I get a prize if I post a YouTube video, or I'll get a prize if I make 5 tallies in the respective category. So we have meditation. Meditation is something that I really value and something I want to make sure I do. So every time I meditate, I put a little tally. And if I get 5, I get to get something out this little prize box right here. And that's just stuff I like to do. Like, go get a matcha from the cafe, get myself flowers, do a movie night, go get a smoothie, go get brunch, things like that, right? One thing that I realized is that I'll stay on track with the things I want to do, and I feel like, okay, but what's the point? And it's like, girl, the point is you feeling better just day to day in life, because these are wellness practices that, as you begin to have the habit, is going to help you sustain overall a good mental health. So I decided to acknowledge me staying on track with these things by giving myself a prize. The thing is with that, I have the prize list and I'm not cashing them in. So that's another thing I realized myself. You have all the intention of treating yourself, but then you end up never doing it. You have to be very intentional about showing up for yourself. So I still have stuff that I need to cash in. I have like 5 prizes that I haven't got yet because I haven't intentionally made the time to do it. But when it comes to celebrating yourself, you have to carve out time. Nobody else is going to do it. You have to be the one to show up for you. That's the only person that you can depend on overall, because you never going to leave you. Other people, of course, could be there as support, and they could be a helping hand, and they could at times maybe show you how to take care of yourself. But when it comes down to it, you got to be the one to do it. This one is something that I'm realizing day to day because it just makes itself known. Time waits for no one. If you want to make something happen, it's not going to magically grow into a thing unless you plant it and water it and care for it. Consistency is everything. Your dream life requires you to show up. The time will pass without progress if you don't. This year, one thing I've realized is that you're not going to get any closer to your goals unless you do the work for them. If you believe in universe, God, spirit, source, whatever you want to think is moving things behind the scenes for you, it can do that. But also, it needs your help with you showing up and doing your part to bring these things into the physical, to bring these things into fruition. Something I do is like I'll meditate, I'll visualize. And I'm like, okay, when is everything coming? And it's like, girl, you could visualize and meditate all day. You also need to do some physical action so then it could match up. The balance is required for everything. For me, I'll be like, I'm supposed to be here at life now. Like, I'm supposed to have this, and I'm supposed to have this, and I'm supposed to. Girl, you have to do the action. You got to stay consistent, because if you don't stay consistent, how are you then going to be able to handle all the things that you say you want? If you want this amount of subscribers and this amount of viewers and this amount of engagement, how are you going to be sustained at it if you're not even used to posting consistently? Once you have the followers and subscribers, the mother effer's going to be waiting on you to upload, because I'm one of them people. I be watching, I was real heavy on Berleezy a couple years ago. I just love watching Berleezy because he was just so funny to me, and I would watch it like maybe at the end of the, Berleezy is like he's like a content creator on YouTube. He's been there for years, and it was one era where he was like posting back to back to back, but it's like, as a viewer, I wanted more. Like, I'm done watching this video, I want the next one. When the next part? So if you are not ready to sustain feeding your followers and feeding your subscribers, you might need to work your way up to that point. So right now it's like, oh, I'm at a space where I'm allowed all the freedom to work myself up to that point, because the amount of engagement, people, and supporters I want, I don't know if I'm there yet to be able to sustain that. If you posting so sporadically, it's like, girl, when I'm a subscriber, I want that weekly upload on time, because I'm waiting for it. I have my little food, I have my little dinner, and I'm trying to watch you do whatever you do. So knowing that, as a follower of people, if people gonna be following me and trying to support me, and I ain't uploading regularly, they gonna be like, bruh, when this mother effer gonna upload? I'm waiting. So knowing that, how are you gonna be able to sustain the stuff you say you want if you're not doing it now without the pressure? Because when you start getting on and being successful, there's gonna be some pressure that comes with that, because you do one thing good and now other people, they want to see what you got next. What you got next? And for me, I just have to be, my issue is consistency. My issue is consistency. With that being said, for me, it's like the amount that you show up is the amount that you get back. It will be reciprocated, but you have to put in that work. You can't just dream about it all day. My issue is dreaming about it too much. Daydreaming about it too much. Like, if you want some stuff to shake, you're gonna have to help shake it up. You're gonna have to help show up for it. So this era, I just gotta take it serious. I gotta take life serious. I feel like I am. The reason I feel like I'm taking it serious is because I'm just stressing out about it. But I'm not taking it serious as a way of like, show up and do what you can do with the resources you currently have available. You feel like you don't have this and that? Okay, do it in a way that you don't need this or that. Do it, simplify it. I have so many things that I want to be a part of, so many things I want to create that's not only art-based, that's not only me traveling the world, but also bringing people together and creating a community of like-minded individuals. So this is something that I want to create, and this is just like a marker so people will know that this is an idea I have for it to exist. I want to make a Black Girls Collective. My issue is not knowing the name of it, but I want to make a collective that allows Black girls to show up and meet other Black girls, because I know an issue with a lot of people is that they don't know how to find friends or make friends or even socialize in a way that lessens their feelings of being awkward. So I want to make a safe space for people to engage with others, that if everybody wants friends, this is a place where you could come to meet them. This is a place where you could come and have a safe space to talk and share and to just be and exist. What I want this group to consist of is a book club, monthly hiking, like go on a hike a couple times a month, tea parties / picnics, art discussions, and crafting, like creation. And I want this to be a space where you could show up consistently to every meeting, or you can pick and choose which ones align with you the most. But you see how I haven't taken much action on that, because where is it at? Where is it at? Where's the name? Where's the Instagram page? Where's the events? And it's like, I be having so many good ideas and thoughtful things I want to do, but when it comes to executing the plan, I overwhelm myself by trying to figure it out all at once, that it just never gets made. And imagine living a life where at the end you think about all the things that lived in your head and they never became physical because you never did it. And you talked about it and you thought about it and it existed wonderfully in your head. but nobody else, not even you, was able to interact with it, enjoy it, see it get planted, and see it grow. That's something that I'm realizing. I'm trying to electrocute myself to just put a step, do something towards the things I want to do every day. Because you see the podcast still not here. That's something that I talked about earlier this year. Podcast still not here. The Black Girl Collective is still a thought. But you see how I'm starting to focus on the things that I didn't do this year, and I'm starting to forget about everything I did this year, which like have my own solo show at the Oak Cliff Cultural Center. That's something that I did this year. Being invited to make content for the ice cream house. That's something that I did this year. I've done things this year, so I need to start focusing on the things that I haven't done yet. Because when you keep focusing on the things that you haven't done, it lessens your motivation and energy to go ahead and accomplish the things that you want to do. So you have to have a balance of getting that fire underneath you and going after what you want, and giving yourself the kudos, accolades, and applause for what you have done so far. So yeah, the things I learned this year is be selfish, be intentional, be assertive, be confrontational, be direct, and realize that when you do these things and if it doesn't go how you want it to go, it's not the end of the world. You didn't die, you're still safe and in your body, and it can only get better from there. Share some things that you learned this year, whether it's a small lesson, a big lesson. If you resonated with anything I said, let me know something. And yeah, it's only gonna get better from here. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.